Hello all, welcome. Now we will be discussing on the topic Seaborn module. Data visualization is a technique to represent data in a pictorial or graphical format. It allows decision makers to analyze data visually and make patterns easily. Python is the most popular language for visualization with its variety of tools. The two greatest Python visualization tools are Matplotlib and Seaborn. Now let me introduce you to the greatest Python visualization tool, Seaborn. It is built on the top of Matplotlib, which makes attractive visualizations and works easily with NumPy and Pandas. As said by the creator, if Matplotlib tries to make easy things easy and hard things possible, Seaborn tries to make a well-defined set of hard things easy too. Now let's see some of the Seaborn functionalities. It is such an API that is based on the dataset which allows us to determine relationship between variables. It automatically estimates and plots linear regression plots. It supports multi-plot grids that is helpful in building complex visualizations. And it also helpful in visualizing univariate as well as bivariate distribution. Now let's see how to install Seaborn. To install Seaborn, we can use the simple command pip install Seaborn. If you are using Anaconda platform, you can use conda install Seaborn. Now let's see how is it different from others and why are we using Seaborn if we already have Matplotlib. Matplotlib is for basic plotting, whereas Seaborn provides numerous visualization patterns and has interesting default themes. Even though Matplotlib has multiple figures that can be opened, but they are to be closed, whereas Seaborn automates the creation of multiple figures. And then Matplotlib doesn't work well when it comes to data frames, while Seaborn actually works with data frames as a whole and is much more initiative than Matplotlib. Now let's have a look on various plotting functions. The first one is relational plots. This relational plot explains relationship between the variables of various datasets and how this relationship is dependent on other variables. The first one is rel plot. It is a figure level interface which uses facet grid function, and this scatter plot and line plot are axis level functions with possibility of several semantic groupings. And the next one is distribution plot. As said, Python also allows multiple grids to plot side by side. These basically use either facet grid function or pair grid function of Seaborn. They are displot. This is a figure level interface for drawing distribution plots onto facet grid, and histplot for univariate and bivariate histograms, and KDE plot to plot univariate or bivariate distributions using kernel density estimation, and ECDF plots empirical cumulative distribution functions, and repplot plots marginal distribution by drawing ticks along x and y axis, and displot flexibly plot univariate distribution observations. And now let me show you the Seaborn plots. This is a dist plot. As you can see here, this curve is called kernel. And now then the joint plot. Here, as you can see, is a hex plots and the box plot in the shape of boxes, and the KDE plots which has two kernels, and the pair plots and the LN plots, and then violin plots which is in the shape of violin. I will show you the output clearly in the coding part of these plots. Now let's see another function which is called utility function. These load an example dataset from online repository. The first one is get dataset name, which report available example datasets, and then get data home, which returns the path to the cache directory, and dispine remove the top and right spines, and desaturate decrease the saturation level of color by some percent. And now let me show you these plots in this coding part with some example programs. Now the first function I am going to show you is relplot, which shows the relationship between two variables with semantic mappings of subset. Now for this, first we need to import Seaborn module as SNS and also matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Then next step is to load datasets from Seaborn module. Load dataset. The name of the dataset I am going to load is iris. Let me show you the dataset iris. This is the dataset I have. Sepal length, sepal width, and the length of the petal and the width of the petal and the names of the species. As you can see here, the data. Now let's plot this. As you can see here, this is the syntax of relplot. I'm going to give the x-axis first, that is sepal width, and then the y-axis is species. Then I'm going to give the data is equals to data. Now let's see the output. As you can see here, this relplot uses facet grid function, and as you can see here, here we have maximum data. Now let's see violin function. The syntax of this violin plot is same as relplot function. The only difference is to rename the function as violin function. As you can see here, the output. Let me change the x-axis for x and y-axis for convenience. Let me show you the output. As you can see here, in Setosa we have maximum data. The shape here is in violin shape. Now I'm going to show you line plot. It's also same. The syntax is also same. We need to change the name of the function. As you can see here, the output. This line plot is used when you want to consider changes as a function of time in one variable. In this case, drawing line plot is a better option. Then I'm going to show you a bar plot. The syntax is same. I'm going to change the function name. As you can see here, the output. Let me change the x and y axis for convenience. As you can see here, the output in the form of bars. Now, the total different function pair plot. This has a different syntax. In this pair plot, this represents a pairwise relation across the entire data frame, and it supports an additional argument called u for categorical separation. Let me show you. Data is equals to data. Then u species. I'm going to give u as species. Let me show you the output. As you can see, this pair plot uses pair grid function. As you can see here, the output. This basically creates a joint plot between every possible numerical column and takes a while if the data frame is really huge. So when that is the time we should use pair plot function. And this is about Seaborn module. Thank you.